We have a starting quarterback in Cleveland. I've been saying all offseason, like, the hell are the Browns going to do if they don't have a quarterback at 2? And a few weeks ago, C-Rob said, well, Flacco. Well, what do we know? Now all of a sudden we get a deal for Flacco, $4 million deal that with incentives, and this is why I think it's key, can become $13 million. Well, $13 million is sort of like Joe Flacco starter money, right? Like $13 million is in that range where Flacco has protected himself. If they draft a quarterback, then he's still going to get paid $4 million. If he plays at all, he's going to get 13. Feels like this is a win-win for the player and for the team. And now we can continue is Joe Flacco elite conversation.
Yeah, I mean, what other choice did Joe Flacco have right now after how he looked with the Colts last year? There's no other teams looking for Joe Flacco at this point. I guess at some point the Steelers could just be like, we're done with Aaron, just call Joe Flacco. But I don't think that was going to happen either. So a fine landing place for Flacco, where he won comeback player of the year 2 years ago. I don't know that his moves the needle too much for me, because what we saw from Joe Flacco last year at the Colts was like, he had that good run 2 years ago that led him to comeback player of the year. It helped the Browns to the playoffs, obviously. Played well, too. And maybe he could replicate that back with Stefanski. I doubt it, honestly. I just think that was lightning in a bottle. Good luck doing that again. So I don't even know. Like you said, yeah, the Browns found a starter. Maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know that he can necessarily beat out Kenny Pickett. I'll be honest with you. Like, yeah, we're already getting bold predictions, right? Like, what's the upside to Joe Flacco now? We'll see. Well, again, I'm just so stuck with what we saw with the Colts last year, where it was like, okay, now Joe Flacco comes in to save this offense from Anthony Richardson, and you're like, oh, Joe Flacco ain't any better, and you have to put Anthony Richardson right back in the lineup. So it's less to me about Flacco, right? It's more to me about everything else all of the things that come along with the Browns signing Joe Flacco right now. It means they're probably out on another veteran. We had all been like, all right, that's a Kirk Cousins team, right? Like, the Browns are going to get Kirk Cousins eventually. I don't think Jory has talked about this, and she kind of enlightened me on it and brought me over to this side of, why would the Falcons trade Kirk Cousins right now? He's already paid for. Like, you need a backup quarterback. Michael Penix does have an injury history. The Falcons aren't just giving away Kirk Cousins, and I've come around to that, and now I'm convinced. Like, there's no real landing spot for Kirk Cousins unless we get into September, somebody gets hurt, really, really desperate, overpays for Kirk Cousins in a trade. Maybe the Falcons consider that. But this just leads me to believe Kirk Cousins ain't going anywhere. I guess the Steelers' option's still out there with Aaron Rodgers, whatever's going to happen if he does ghost them at the end of this whole thing. But I just think Cousins is off the table for the Browns now, right? And I think the second pick at quarterback is obviously off the table. I think we all kind of knew that, reading the tea leaves. Travis Hunter's getting a lot of steam with the number 2 pick and people projecting that. I think this just locks it in. Like, the Browns are done at quarterback. Like, this is it. They're going into the season with Flacco, Pickett backing him up. I don't get too excited about that. Maybe they draft somebody second, third, fourth round to develop, but I don't think they're chasing another veteran, and I don't think they're drafting a guy number 2. I think that's pretty obvious at this move.
Yeah, no, look, I've been sort of standing on the Kirk Cousins isn't going anywhere mountain for a minute, and I think that's pretty clear. Like, it doesn't matter what we all think. Arthur Blank doesn't want to let him go. So that's just facts. Now, I will push back on one thing because, look, these are just numbers, and numbers in a vacuum don't really have the eye test. I get it. But with the Browns, Joe Flacco completed 60% of his passes for 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. With the Colts, 65%, 1,700 yards, 12 and 7. His passer rating was higher with the Colts than it was with the Browns.
Really?
And all of those numbers I just gave you, like the Kenny Pickett's best year, his rookie year, or his second year, if you want to take it by quarterback rating, 62% completion, 2,070 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks, and an 81 passer rating. Like, I don't know that Kenny Pickett is better than a 40-year-old Joe Flacco. That's how little I believe in Kenny Pickett. So, like, right now, this is just, if you're looking around, you're like, man, our options are Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco. I don't think you can say they're out of the quarterback market, but I do think that makes it pretty clear that I'd be surprised if they went quarterback at 2. If they had somebody they loved at 2, we could make the argument that they're doing what the Giants did, right? Like, Kenny Pickett's really the backup, and Joe Flacco's going to be the coach in the room for him. Like, we've said that Jameis Winston is the coach in the room and Russell Wilson's the actual backup. Maybe that's their plan, but man, you want to talk. I pray to God that the Browns don't draft Shedeur. Because if you're telling me that they're going to put a quarterback room together that's Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Shedeur Sanders, what part of that am I supposed to feel good for Shedeur about? Like, I want these kids to go into opportunities to succeed. Flacco has never in his career really turned around and been like, I want to be a tremendous mentor. Like, that is not who he is, right? And there's nobody in that room that's going to push Shedeur. So I hate that for Shedeur. Like, I hope this takes the Browns out of the quarterback market in the first round. Maybe in the second round, they take a flyer on somebody they want to develop slow and low. But man, if your options are Kenny Pickett or a 40-year-old Joe Flacco at this point, you are screwed. In the division they're in the conference they're in. Like, congratulations, Browns fans. You just found out what the ceiling is. And the ceiling is Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett, which means the ceiling is it's a ceiling of suck.